Welcome to ENTC 2160 Architectural CAD. At this point, you've been able to view many of the videos that I've put together to show you some of the fundamentals and the basics of Architectural Desktop, the tool that we're using for this particular class. And what we've covered up to this point is how to create walls, how to install windows and door schedules, how to bring in furniture from the design center. We've talked about slabs, we talked about stairs, and we've talked about attaching the rails to the stairs as well. We talked about hatching, and we've also talked about being able to install slabs. So at this point, I want to show you how you can use those tools that you've just learned to create something that's just not an automatic icon that you can select and say, hey, show me a fireplace and I want to install it. So I'm going to show you how to create a fireplace using all of these tools that you've used. Now, just remember, AutoCAD is a tool just like a mechanic is having a toolbox. There's many tools in there, and some of those tools were designed for one thing, but what is conveniently great for the mechanic is that some of those tools can be used for other things as well. So I'm going to show you what some of the tools that I've already taught you, how they can be used to create a fireplace. So the first thing I want to do is create a wall where the fireplace is going to be. So I'm going to simply just go in and create a wall here, select wall, and my fireplace in this case is going to be a brick wall, so I'm going to select this brick wall. And in fact, what I think I want to do is maybe put it right in front of this. As you can see, the walls just want to go vertical or horizontal. So as we discussed before, you want to toggle off orthogonal, and that's what I'm doing here by hitting F8. It's now toggled off, creating these walls, and I want to come back here in where I started. Right click, hit enter. So now what we have here is where the fireplace is going to be. Some time ago in the video we talked about the default settings. These wall defaults are going to be 10 feet. Obviously you want your walls for your fireplace to maybe extend outside of your ceiling, and so we can change that now or we can change it later. So for this we want to keep it here right now. So next thing that I want to do is create an opening for the fireplace. And so instead of just saying create an opening, we want to go to doors, and I want to select a case opening because I want the fireplace opening to look really good. And so I want to select this. And once I select this, I'm going to put the case opening here. Now remember, when you select a case opening from here, it's making an assumption that it's going to be a regular door opening, which is going to be the assumption, and also the default setting is going to be that the width is 3 feet and the height is going to be 7 feet. Unless you are at the Biltmore, you're not going to see a fireplace opening that tall. So we can go in here and just go ahead and put it in this place right here. So we want to do this. And I'm going to put the opening here, and I'm just doing it this way because I want to show you how you can change it after the fact. So I'm going to put it right here, and let me escape out of this, because when I put in the door, I failed to toggle off the endpoints, and so when I put the door in, the door shifted to the right. So what we want to do is start this over. Start the door here. You see that little green box? We want to make sure that that's toggled off. So hit F3 for those endpoints. Now it should let me put it where it needs to be. So you can see how it is, the size of it. You can see that the width is 3 feet. You can see that there's 1 foot, 4.5, which means that the distance on both sides of the opening is the same. So once you do that, you hit escape. Now, as we said before, this door opening or this case opening is going to be a standard door, which means that that's too much for a fireplace. So I'm going to select this as we've done here, open up my properties dialog box, and as you can see here, the width is 3 feet, which is okay with me, but the height is 7. I don't want a 7-foot opening. I think I want about a 4-foot opening, so height on this. So I'm going to type in 4 feet, and it will automatically change that by hitting enter. So now that's 4 feet. Remember, you can't see height in the top view, so just know it has changed, and we'll go back and take a look at this a little bit later. So let's hit escape. Now that we have this done, let's just take a look at what we've done so far by going to a 3-dimensional view. So if I go select view and do an isometric, right click, select 3D orbits, I'm able to zoom around here. So let's, instead of a 2D wireframe, let's look at this and shade it and see what we have. So now we have a wall here that's going to be a part of our fireplace, as you can see here. The other thing that we might want to put here is that we might want to put a slab at the bottom. And so that's what I want to do now, put a slab at the bottom. So let's go back to the top view. Once we just select the top view, I want to also go back to the 2D wireframe, which we have here. So now, as we discussed in the previous video, we're going to do a slab here, and the slab is going to be in this corner here. So let's go to our slab, select design, find your slab. Here we do, it's there. So now I want to select this corner, and I'm going to turn on my endpoints. Well, not necessarily in this case. I'm going to just select this corner here. Select slab, select this corner, come down to this corner here, come to this corner here, and if you want to extend it out further, you can. So sometimes you have a little, and let's do that. We'll do that. We'll extend it out a little bit further. Going to connect here. So as we discussed, right click, as we discussed when we created slabs, one of the things that we said was wherever you start and where you finish, it should be the same. So now let's take a look at this in 3D. Now this slab is at the bottom, which is good because we don't want the slab to be up yet, right? So let's take a look at this in 3D. And let's go to shade it, right click, and let's orbit this thing around a little bit. So you can see now I have a slab right here at the bottom. What happens sometimes when you do this is that sometimes you have the wall here, but then you have cylinders that come up that supports the chimney for the smoke, etc. to go. So what we can do there is that one of the things that we haven't talked about yet is that if you stretch this down a little bit, you have access to a whole lot more tools. All right, if you stretch it down. And if we go to massing, if you will, we have cylinders. So you can actually literally pull in cylinders and put your cylinders in the top of this. Okay, so just know that that tool is there as well. We won't put the cylinders in now. I just want you to know that. But one of the things that I want to do now is to put a mantle in front of the fireplace. You know, so you can put candles or whatever else you want to put there. So let's go back to the top view. Instead of shaded, we want to go back to two-dimensional wireframe. We have this here. So now what I want to do is go back to slabs again. So you want to scroll back up, find all the stuff that you were looking for before. So there's design. Find your slab, which we have here. And so this time I want to select this. I want this to be, where's the corner of the wall? So I want this to be right on the wall. So it's going to be from here to there. To maybe stop around here, and I'm going to go to where I started, which is there. Hit enter to make sure it stays. It didn't stay, which means that where I started and where I ended was not the same point. So again, good. So let's go back, select slab again. Right click, hit enter. It still didn't stay, which means that somehow it's not finding the end. So let's try it one more time. I'm going to start at this corner, come to this corner, and come out. I'm going to come here to this corner. Right click, enter. It stayed, which means so it's now in place. So you have to make sure where you start and where you finish is at the same place. So let's go and look at this now in let's just look at it in 3D right now. So you should have an extra, let's do this. Instead of 2D wireframe, let's go to shaded. You should see an extra slab at the bottom. It should be extended out. And so we can see that extra slab, which is this part right here. That extra part right there. So what we want to do here is we want to take escape out of here because we want to look at this. I'm going to select this front part right here. I'm going to right click and go to my properties dialog box here. And let me move this over. And we have height here, or we have elevation. In this case, since it sits on the floor, we know that we changed the opening to 4 feet. The question now is, how far do you want that mantle to be above the opening of the fireplace? Let's just put 5 feet, maybe a foot over that. Let's just put 5 feet. Making sure you use the right tick mark. Hit enter, and it has now raised up, as you can see here. Hit right click, let me escape out of that. Hit right click, see if it's exactly where I want it to be. So it's now above that opening. If we want it to go up a little bit higher, we can do the same thing again. We can select that. We go to the properties dialog box. You can go find elevation. And if you want to move it up to 6 feet, you can move it up to 6 feet. And it went up a little higher. So there you go. Also, if you say, well, I want this to be a little bit further out, you can actually stretch that out in 3D if you want to have a little bit more shelf space out there. So let's hit escape. And let's start looking at this in 3D orbit again. So now we have a fireplace here in the corner with a little mantle place here. As I said before, if you were to select this, you have these arrows that you can move it out to stretch it a little bit, or you can stretch it in. Back to what we talked about before in terms of bringing in the templates. If you want to put a vase or something on top of this, you can go to your furniture, select the vase, bring it in. Remember, it's going to be at the bottom, 0 elevation, and then you just raise it up to the top. So what we've done is use the basic tools that we have to use slabs. If you want to, for the purpose of a presentation graphics, just like we put this bottom slab here, you can create a closing slab on the top and put your cylinders. So thank you for watching this video on creating slabs and architectural desktop. I hope this video was helpful. Enjoy installing your slabs throughout your work. Thank you.